Well, welcome everybody to this edition of Hard Talk, and a very special lineup we have for you today, focused on the very interesting topic of transforming to digital sub-brands and how we really embrace uber-izing the telecom industry. I'm delighted to welcome our special panelist for today, Jean-Francois Fallacher, CEO of Orange. Good morning to Jean-Francois.
Hello, good morning, Nick. Hello, everyone.
Hello, and a very warm welcome also to Cindy Kane. You just heard Cindy's voice. Cindy is going to be moderating the audience discussion today. So one special feature of our Hard Talks is, of course, the live audience interaction. So if you're joining us live, please do join in through the chat window. You can post questions and comments there, and we'll be coming to Cindy throughout the session to hear your observations and what we're talking about. So good morning to you, Cindy.
Good morning.
So Jean-Francois, let's dive straight in. Digital sub-brands, MVNOs like Flex, we've seen a handful of them around the world. Companies like Verizon in the US with Visible, giffgaff from Telefonica in the UK. But from everything we've seen with Flex, it feels like Orange Poland is taking this a little bit further. So I'd like to start by asking you to tell us why Flex, what motivated you to do this, and what have been the results so far?
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for inviting me, Nick. I'm delighted to be with you this morning. And maybe before we talk about Flex, I should say maybe a few words about Orange Polska, because I'm not sure everyone that is listening to this call is completely aware about the Polish market and our role here in Poland. So I'm speaking live from Warsaw. You can see in my Zoom background that I try to show you a picture of an emblematic building in the city center of our beautiful Warsaw city. So Orange is the leading operator in this country. Poland, as you know, is quite an important European country. It's the fifth now that you guys in Great Britain are leaving Europe. We are a 40 million inhabitant country in Eastern Europe. And Orange is again the leading operator there. So we are a complete operator providing mobile services, but also fixed services, fiber, with a huge fiber deployment in Poland. We are having in this 14 million households country, more than 4.5 million households that have been passed with fiber. This has been the major project of this company, basically in the last 4 years that I'm leading it. We are also providing TV services. So we are, I would say, a complete operator, delivering services to both consumers and also B2B customers. So that's a few words about Orange Polska. So we are at Orange Polska in a big transformation, because we are in a business where we are really what I call a brick and mortar. You know, we are a company which is full of assets. We are, having these towers to provide mobile signal. We are laying down fiber in all the streets in Poland. So a company which is full of assets, also full of people, because Orange Polska is having 12,000 employees in this country. So we are really a brick and mortar company. And I would say we have been quite shaken. That's not new. A few years ago, it was like 6 years ago, by the arrival of the eSIM, this so-called embedded SIM that will actually is removing the last physical barrier of our business. Because obviously today, if you want to get access to a mobile operator, usually what you do is you go in a shop, buy a phone, or if you have a phone, go in a shop, sign a contract, usually for 2 years. You get this plastic SIM card, and that you put in your phone, and here you go. You will enjoy the services of this mobile operator. So the eSIM has been for us a topic of questioning, because this again is removing the last physical barrier to our business. And at Orange Polska, as part of this transformation that we are conducting, we've been asking ourselves the question, actually, how could we be disrupted? So, Nick, you were talking about MVNOs, and MVNOs are on the market in many countries and in Poland as well for many years. Usually they're not really disruptors, but they're coming with a new brand or they're coming with a new asset. For instance, we have here as well Virgin as a in Poland, which is, a competitor coming with a new brand. But we really asked ourselves at Orange Polska, how could these technologies like eSIM allow a newcomer, a new entrant, to really disrupt us? And, in a quite classical strategic exercise, we obviously looked at what happened in other industries. And you can take two very obvious examples. I mean, that everybody knows. This is Uber for the taxi business, or this is Revolut for the banking services. And I was personally a Revolut user for many years and was always impressed by the customer experiences, how you, first of all, can open a bank account completely remote, completely digitally, without 24/7, without basically meeting anyone. So, during this strategic reflection that we had, we really wondered how would a new entrant disrupt ourselves completely, bringing to the market a completely new digital experience. So we were really doing a very classical exercise of what I call blue ocean. So what can we strip out of our current products that are maybe from the past, that we have inherited from our habits in the industry, because this is an industry, mobile, that is a more than 20 years industry, 25, I would say, years industry. I'm working in this industry forever, I can remember. So we really had this kind of action. We've built this, let's say, service, this offer with customers. So all alongside the reflection, we had more than 4,000 Polish people involved via panels, they reacted on every stage of our conception. And we came up with this offer, which actually I call it's a telco in an app. So it's a fully digital offer and proposal for the Polish market, meaning that you can get access to our mobile network without any physical touch or without any human touch. So you don't need to call someone, you don't need to go in a place or in a shop. Especially if you have a device which is eSIM enabled, like an iPhone, for instance, you can 24/7 get access to our services, again, without any physical touch. This is a pure digital experience. So for instance, when you want to onboard, so first of all, you download the app, which is on the Apple Store or on the Google Store. Then once you download the app, it will ask you to introduce your credentials. Take a picture of your ID, because obviously we have some rules and regulation, like in the banking sector, we need to verify who you are. So we have here exactly the same, let's say, process that you can, if some of you are using Revolut, for instance, this is exactly, or N26, this is exactly the same process. So you take a pic of your ID card or passport, take a selfie, and then real time, you will be authorized or not. So 92% of the times when it's not fraudulent, you will be authorized. And then you will simply be asked to put your credit card credentials in the app, and here you go. You'll get access immediately. You'll get your eSIM that will be downloaded on your iPhone, and you will get access to our network. And there again, we have changed the rules, because this is, as it is an application, this is fully digital. First of all, you have real-time counters on the usage of your data, of your voice. For instance, I will talk about roaming later. And obviously, there is no more invoice. Like, we are all used to receive our mobile phone invoice. That concept doesn't exist anymore. There is no more 24 months contract. You can hop on and hop off at any time. I mean, obviously, you will pay the months at the beginning of each month. They will be direct debited to your credit card. So once again, no more invoice. So no more problems of reading your invoice, because this has gone. And after 2 months, if you don't like it anymore, or I don't know, if you go abroad, you use anymore, you will simply stop paying and your subscription will be put on hold until the moment where you return to the app and pay again, and then it's going to be on again. So that's in a nutshell what is Flex about. Maybe I could, if we can play the commercial, I could show you the latest commercial that we have been hearing in Poland for this product.
Let's take a look at that.
Hej Orange, wiecie jak jest. Nie lubimy się ograniczać. Kochamy podróżować. Spędzamy wolny czas z bliskimi. I czasami ciężko nam usiedzieć w 4 ścianach. Ale nie teraz. Teraz potrzebuję czegoś, co da mi wolność bez wychodzenia z domu. Macie coś takiego?
Hej, chcesz, masz. Idealny będzie Orange Flex. Plan komórkowy w aplikacji bez zobowiązań. Przenieś numer w aplikacji bez wychodzenia z domu. Zmieniaj plan, dodawaj pakiety i przekazuj gigabajty znajomym jednym kliknięciem. Jak chcesz i kiedy chcesz. Nawet na kanapie. A teraz z kodem FLEX masz dowolny plan za złotówkę za pierwszy miesiąc. Pobierz aplikację Orange Flex i powiedz nam, co myślisz. Orange.
Great advert.
That's the commercial we heard. So you see that this is rather targeted at population, which is, I would say, a younger population, a more digital population. So we are clearly advertising that Flex is about freedom, is about, and you have seen at the end, Cześć, masz means you want, you get, basically. So that's the motto of Flex. Right. You want, you get.
Now, that's not the kind of advert we might be used to seeing from a telecom company, Jean-Francois, and that's one of the things I wanted to pick up. You know, Orange Polska is traditionally an incumbent in the market. You've got a rich heritage and legacy in the market, which, you know, comes with its pros and cons. For you to embrace something like Flex, which I think for the first time in my experience is getting so close to what a Revolut or a digital challenger might do when they come into the market. I've actually got the app on my phone. You can sign up to it in any country, and the digital experience is remarkably better. I'm always a little skeptical when I hear about these stories, but I've tried it for myself, and it really is very good. But for you to do that, what did it take? You've said yourself, you come, you know, with your own past in telecoms. You're not coming into this sort of from a different mindset. So what did you have to bring into the company, and what did you have to challenge the team to do? Were there big, you know, mindsets you had to change? What needed to change in the team to deliver something like this?
Thank you for the question. Actually, the first big question we asked ourselves when, you know, we knew that we wanted to go that direction and develop this service, and it was, to be precise, a bit more than 2 years ago, was, okay, do we decide to develop this project inside the company, inside Orange Polska, or do we, you know, create an affiliate, and do we put new people in this a new business, and do we develop it aside Orange Polska, or do we develop it inside Orange Polska? There are pros and cons on I think the both scenarios. We decided to develop it inside Orange Polska. The main reason for that was that we are, as you said, an incumbent. We are a listed company, and we are suffering, I would say, from this fact that we are an incumbent, which is a great asset, but there is a nasty side of it, is that we have still a lot of business coming from fixed telephony. So this is our history. It is obviously what makes us very strong in Poland, but this is also complicated because I'm saying, you know, we are like these guys running multiple marathon. That's our year. You know, every year we operate, but at the end of every year, people say, great, you have run this marathon, you have succeeded in running it, we put more stone in your backpack. So because every year our fixed telephony revenues are dropping, and this is basically pure margin, and there is nothing we can do about that, because obviously fixed telephony is a product from the past. So it's just in any markets that I know in Europe, this is just dropping year after year. But why am I saying that? Is that as a company, we have always in this hurdle every year. So it's not that we have only, if we want to grow the business, we need to grow it really a lot, because we have this decrease of our legacy business, which is, by the way, only pure margin. Why am I saying that? Is that because we are having for the last 4 years a very strong transformation in Orange Polska, and especially we do a lot of cost cutting. A lot of projects are around efficiency in our core business. And, this project was quite key, because this project, I would say, opposite to, let's say, 80% of the other project, was about development. It was about digital, about development, how to grow our mobile, how to be innovative. So we decided that we would keep it inside the company, because we could not only have this kind of efficiencies and cost-cutting project, but we only have to have this kind of projects which are about innovation, which are about the future. This is very engaging for the company, and we decided basically to develop this project inside Orange Polska. Then there was a lot of discussions about the brand. I mean, should we take another brand? Because we are, for instance, in Poland, Orange running 2 brands. Of course, the Orange brand, but we have some products under a brand which is called NGU, NGU. So it's a bit like Soch in France. There are French people in the call. So it's a second brand. By the way, we have 1 million customers on this second brand, which is pretty successful, which has been launched actually 6 years ago in Poland. So it's like an internal MVNO with a second brand. So we were wondering, I mean, do we use this new brand, which is totally dissociated from Orange, different values, different offers? Do we invent a third brand, or do we, launch this product under the Orange brand? For many reasons that I'm maybe not going to explain now, we decided to launch this product under the Orange brand. That was one of the considerations. And then we thought also that this product was the occasion to transform the company in terms of ways of working. I'll come to that. So we have definitely started this Flex, working on this Flex project on agile mode. So we have really structured the team on an agile mode inside Orange Polska. So we have put together on a given place, on a given floor, all necessary competencies in the company: IT people, customer service people, marketing guys, brand people. They had, one floor dedicated to Flex. They were really working in agile methodology with agile tools. And I have to say, I really give credit to our CIO, Bruno Chomel, which has been also courageous enough to develop Flex with a complete new IT pipe. So we have also decided not at all to use our legacy, because the big issue that you have when you are running a company like Orange Polska, which is an incumbent, which history is the fusion between here in Poland, Telekomunikacja Polska, which was the incumbent, and PTK Center Telemobile Operation. Just to give you an idea, if there are IT people in the room, we are having more than 450 IT systems interconnected to serve our different businesses. So we have a huge IT, meaning that every time we want to develop a new product, or we are doing any modifications, they are usually very long, very costly, because when we launch a new product in our legacy business, usually we are touching a minimum 25 systems. Costs are high. The time to market is usually counted in quarters. If you do, let's say, minor modifications, if you have major products, new products to launch. For instance, I remember very well when I joined the company 4 years ago. I can speak about it now publicly because this was quite a long time ago. I joined 4 years ago the company. I remember at that time, again, we launched the fiber project, and we decided to go convergent because that was a strong point of this company in Poland. That was far before we thought about Flex. So we said we are going to come up with a convergent product, meaning one convergent order, so you can order your mobile, your fiber, and your TV with one contract. When I arrived, this was a clear direction. I was talking to the guys, and I told them, okay, guys, when can we deliver this product? They told me, Jean-Francois, in 1 year. I was saying, 1 year? You're kidding me. It's not possible. And so I pushed because I just arrived. I was a new CEO. They promised me they would do it in 6 months. Actually, you know what? The project was late. It took 1 year. So just to give you a flavor of, so we are in a business where we need to anticipate a lot because the size of our business, I mean, I remind that we are running 15 million mobile customers. We are having 600,000 fiber customers, 2.4 million DSL customers. So it's a very sizable business with very high and massive numbers. So again, 450 IT systems. So this is really an industry and a factory where we need to anticipate a lot, and the reactivity is the time to market is actually pretty low. So when we thought about Flex, we decided to do it really different. So our CIO went to our network teams and asked them to give him basic MVNO interfaces. And we have structured Flex with an IT pile, which is a pure digital IT pile, and it's completely separated from our legacy IT. There are no links, no hooks, nothing. So, by the way, we've used two. I'm not a specialist, so here, if you want more details, you should invite Bruno Chomel, our CIO. But we've used two software from the market. One, which is actually Velocity, which is completely built on Salesforce, which is an industry-specific software where all telco core processes were already prepared. And we've used under this Matrix, which is also pre-integrated with Velocity. So we have a full IT new digital pile, which is basically cloud-based from the start, enabling us also, because that was also the idea of this project. It's not only, I think, an innovative product and a project from the consumer side or from our customers' perspective. We've been building it also fit for this digital world. It's a cloud native product, and obviously, again, the team is working on an agile mode, and there is no more this legacy type of when we do some developments, there is no more test phase integration.
These are I think Jean-Francois
in a completely new paradigm, and I will give you back the floor, Nick, and the results are amazing. The results are amazing.
I think it's a very brave approach, Jean-Francois, in terms of when we look at these examples in other carriers around the world, typically is that secret team in the bunker. Nobody even knows about it for 6 months, and then it's sort of unveiled. But it's often creates an interesting tension internally. But before we go any further, the chat's going pretty crazy at the moment. So we've got some questions coming in. I want to hand over to Cindy just for a moment to hear from Cindy on some of the questions and observations from the audience.
Hi, everyone. Great audience interaction on the chat board so far, so thank you so much for that. Please be sure to continue your dialogue and questions here. There's been a lot of praise, Jean-Francois, around Flex and lots of questions coming through. I'm going to break the first two down into two areas. So the first one's around eSIM. So what has been the impact of Flex eSIM proposition compared to a regular SIM? And can you share any figures? And the second part of it is all around kind of the roaming and the customer side. So how are roaming customer service, for example, people from the UK visiting Poland, would it work the same way? What are the differentiators you're seeing? And does Flex provide access to a level of data usage of the device that could be used for segmentation based on behaviors, for example? So those are the first two areas, and then I'll crack on.
Okay. I can take the questions. So the eSIM. First of all, we have also early on in Poland decided that was part of this innovation direction. We have decided, and we were the first on the market to provide eSIM in Poland. Also, I would say on the legacy systems. We believe in Orange Polska in really embracing the innovations. We are not afraid about innovations. even if we believe they are going to disrupt that. I'm a big believer that, the best defense is always attack. So we have been developing eSIM on both our classical offers, I would say, and Flex. So if you are a customer of Orange Polska, you can get an eSIM on your iWatch since like more than a year and a half now. We've been the first on the Polish market and the only one for more than a year to offer this service. So it was not on Flex only. Talking about Flex, so we have an important number of iPhone users. I don't have the latest statistics, so I don't want to tell you wrong numbers, but this is clearly the most efficient process, and the pure digital process is with eSIM. If you want a physical SIM, you can get one. So we would ship the SIM by courier to your place if you don't have one. So we allow also a process without physical SIM on Flex. So that I think answers the first question. So obviously, talking about eSIM, you can order many eSIMs because in Flex we have a feature. We have a family feature, so you can have, let's say, family cards. So, for instance, if you are the mother or the father, you are having the main account, which is the main SIM card, and you can have attach other SIM cards where you can. There is a way in Flex as well where you can very easily send gigabytes to other Flex users. A bit like exactly the same than in Revolut, where you can send pounds to another Revolut card, like on a click. In Flex, on a click, you can send gigabytes to other cards. And so it means that, for instance, if you are having an iPhone and you are having an iWatch and you want an eSIM in your iWatch, you can have two eSIMs using Flex. So it's been helping a lot. I think I don't have the latest statistics, but it was roughly 20% of our customers using eSIM because we have a lot of iPhone users. That was for the first question. Sorry, Ali, I forgot the second question. Could you remind me?
Hi, no, it's okay. So the second roundabout, that was how our customers, how our roaming customer service, for example, people from
roaming. So roaming is very interesting with Flex because, obviously we also changed the paradigm of roaming because, Flex is an application. So when, for instance, you take a plane, which is not the case anymore, I agree, but it will come back hopefully soon. But let's say you take a plane and you land in the US. Flex, the app knows, because it will ask you permission for your location. The app knows you're in the US. So the app will proactively notify you. So it's not an SMS or it's a app notification that, hey, you just landed in the US. We have a great offer for roaming in the US. It's a notification, you get in the app, and then you pick your package eventually real time. Real time, it will be, if necessary, debited on your credit card. Again, no invoice, but real time debit, this package of roaming you just bought. And here as well, real time, you have a counter in the app, which is telling you where you are. So what you've consumed. You can buy a data package, you can buy a data plus voice package. So we've changed also the paradigm of roaming in that way that you have a real-time counters, consumption, and again, the moment you land, you get proposed via an app notification to go in the app and choose eventually the roaming package you want, because roaming in Europe for sure is free now, so that's not the topic anymore for Europe because we have Roam Like Home. But for many other destinations, and maybe US was a bad example from me because US is quite cheap roaming, but you have some countries where roaming is awfully expensive. And I think it's a parenthesis. I think we operators will have to do something about that sooner or later. But I think, let's say you go to an exotic country where roaming costs are like, I don't know, £5 per minute. We have some issues. So we have in Orange Polska some what we call bill shock mechanisms that basically block your roaming in order for you to have no surprise in such countries. People usually are dissatisfied because sometimes they don't know why they cannot call, simply because for protecting their invoice. We've been blocking them. They need to call our call centers, or they need to go on a website to unlock the roaming package if they want. This is not real time. So this is, I would say, the classical mobile telephony world. And here we've already completely changed the way roaming is being consumed with Flex.
Very, very good. Very good. So I want to just pick up on the point you were leading into there, Jean-Francois, on the digital experience, because with Flex, we're talking about really a very simplified form of a telecom company. You already mentioned there's no invoicing. This is, you pay with the credit card. It's like signing up to any over-the-top subscription app for this service. It's eSIM based, so there's no physical need if you are able to go down that path. But when it comes to the experience, telecom has, particularly mobile, has built up a really big retail presence in most countries. It's in the high streets and city centres of most countries with physical stores, big call centres, complex packages. To me, Flex is the complete opposite of that. We're saying, none of the physical, don't need the call centres. It's entirely digital. Which do you think is the future? Is Flex a service that's working for a customer segment that's totally comfortable with that? Is that the future, or is it just something that younger generation who want that flexibility are going to be happy with, and as they grow older, they'll want some of these more traditional services?
But if you ask me, I personally believe the future is in Flex, because this is really the new way of dealing, and especially after this COVID crisis. I mean, you probably saw it yourself when you are when you were home and all the shops were closed, which was the case in Poland. You have no choice, but you shop online or you do things online, and we all relied more on applications. So I'm personally completely persuaded the future is in Flex. However, like in any innovation, it takes time. And it will take time. When take the TV business, for instance, which I know pretty well because we are quite a big TV player in the Polish market. I mean, take Poland. Poland is a DTH market on pay TV, meaning that most of the Polish people, they have a satellite dish. When OTT arrived, this is obviously a disruptor for DTH. But we are like 10 years after this disruption or this innovation of OTT, and the majority of the market is still DTH. So it's not that DTH is growing anymore. So the OTT business is growing on TV, but DTH is slowly deteriorating or going down. But the big chunk is still there. But where is the future? The future is obviously in OTT, and I think for Flex is going to be the same. So we launched Flex. We launched Flex 1 year ago. I can share some results. We have now 50,000 customers. The perception is extremely good and extremely strong. The NPS is really very high, higher than in our products. But the take-up is actually a bit slower than we initially thought. Simply because when we ask, consumers are used for the last 20 years, they have their habits. When you seek for a mobile subscription, the first thing you do is you go in a mobile shop, and we Orange have 800 shops in the country. In every mall in Poland, in every shopping mall, you have an Orange store, and people are used to go in a store. And by the way, Flex is not distributed by our physical retail channel, meaning our salespeople do not get any commission if they sell Flex. So can you imagine? They don't sell it. So Flex is purely digital and is purely available in our digital channels, and we did decide not to commission our let's say, physical retail channel, because that could be a way to pump up the volumes, but then we would lose the digital part of this product. So what I mean by that is that I believe this is the future, but I also believe, and we also are realistic about that, it will take time, because it's about changing habits on consumers, and that takes years. And I can still tell you that in Poland, our physical retail network is absolutely key. And once again, during the COVID crisis, it was a very interesting period, actually.
Well,
because for 2 months, for 2 months and a half, we had half of our store closed. We have seen the impact on our sales. By the way, we have seen the global impact on the churn in the country. So the market has been frozen. So that was fantastic. We were selling less, but we were losing also much less customers. And when shops have reopened 2 weeks ago, it started up again, and we are almost back to the pre-COVID period.
Yeah.
So you see,
now are you
key importance of retail network in Poland. So both will be together.
That's very interesting. There's a lot of theories flying around right now about what's the new normal, what happens in this post-COVID world. Retail is one of many aspects of telco we're looking at. There's been large telco operators like Virgin Media in the UK declaring earlier this week they're going to shut down all of their retail stores. They're not going to reopen a large proportion of them.
Nick, I wish one of our competitors would do this.
It's who moves first, right?
I wish.
So, but do you think? I mean, as you just said, with a large, the majority of the population of the country stuck at home for a number of weeks, having to do things digitally they might not have done digitally before, is that long enough that essentially people's habits change? I know it's very early to say, but do you think the COVID situation will drive a accelerated digitization, or from what you're saying, people are going back to the stores now? Is it, life's going to go back to pretty much as it was from a retail point of view?
Well, I believe this, yes. Of course, it's too early to say because we will see that in the next quarters. We will have confirmation of that in the next quarters, but I believe yes, because I believe there is an entire population that eventually was reluctant and was kind of forced to use these digital services, and that these guys that have tried it now, maybe the fear has gone and they will get more on the digital. So I believe that there was probably a segment of the population that was reluctant, that was not using digital, that was kind of forced by the circumstances to use digital services. And for instance, let me take a concrete example. I was horrified when the lockdown started in Poland. It was exactly the 13th of March. I remember that I guess it was like 4 or 5 days after I went to visit one of our shops. I was horrified because in this shop, which is in the city center, which is our biggest smart store in Warsaw, there were only elderly people. I was shocked. And I was asking, but what are they doing here? They are coming to pay their invoices. I'm saying no, because these segment of people, they are used to come to the shop and pay their invoices cash still. So basically, we had to react very quickly to explain to elderly people, which were the most, delicate population, which are the guys that you didn't want to see in the street. They were coming to our shops to pay their invoice. So first of all, we delay invoice payment for a month. We let them know. And second, we did a lot of, communication and explanations to these guys. How can you pay your invoice remote, digitally, from our website? And there are in Poland a number of electronic ways to pay your invoice, but habits of the consumer and habits of a certain population, and usually this is hard to change. Also the elderly people are things that are very, very difficult to change, but they were kind of forced during this period of time to change their habits. So in terms of payments, it was also a very nice surprise to see that this population that was usually reluctant was forced to pay differently, and they started to do it. So maybe the fear has gone, and hopefully they will continue.
Well, let's hope so. I think that's going to be the case across a lot of different channels. Let's move on to talking a little bit about loyalty, because what you're describing with Flex could well be a window into the future for mobile. Greatly simplified business, 100% digital, if not very close to it. But within Flex as well, the clue's in the name. Customers can come and go as they please. There's not even the physical lock-in of a SIM card or the inconvenience of having to wait for a new SIM card to come. So how do you build loyalty if you're moving customers into that paradigm?
I'm a big believer, and that's what I'm sometimes repeating to my teams. Obviously, this is our job, this is our business. So we are daily in this telecom business. But, the normal consumer, the normal guy, probably you, Nik, you don't dream about changing your mobile every day. What do you want? I mean, you want your mobile to work properly. You want to have good connection. You want to have, when you call someone, you want to have perfect sound. You want to have a good speed of data. And if this is the case, and if the prices are okay, not everybody is dreaming to change his mobile and churn every day. So I think the roots of our business are to provide a very good quality. And we measure that by NPS measurements all the time. And when you have an issue with your mobile provider, you want your issue to be fixed, possibly quickly and swiftly. So I'm a big believer of that. And what I'm repeating to my guys is that if we do provide a perfect service, people basically are not going to churn. And I remind them, because again, we are a bit deformed people. This is our business. So I'm telling them, do you think every day about your electricity provider and changing your electricity provider? Although you can do that, of course not. Because what you want is your electricity to work, full stop. And if you pay a decent price, you are not dreaming every day to change. It's a bit more complicated than that in our business, because there is all these devices, a smartphone business, which is very attractive. There is the promotion game, of course. I'm a bit simplifying. But, I'm a big believer that the features that we provide for Flex are themselves loyalty features. I'm a big believer that it is not by locking people down in contracts of 24 months that you are creating loyalty. This is untrue. Of course, there are reasons why we are locking people down with contracts of 24 months, because usually we are selling these beautiful devices by installments, because they are usually very expensive, especially for markets like our markets, which are low-cost market. In Poland, when you sell a device of 800 pounds, this is very expensive. So we obviously provide installments over periods of usually 24 months. And this is the reason why we are locking customers down, because we want to make sure that they are going to pay the entirety of their device. But and by the way, very interesting experience we have is with this second brand, New. Because this second brand, New, is a SIM-only brand. So we are not selling devices, but we are selling SIM-only. There is no loyalty contracts in New, so you are free to go anytime as well. And guess what? The loyalty of New customers is higher than the loyalty of Orange customers. So it's a bit counterintuitive, but that's the reality. So it is not because you lock down people with contracts that you will be more loyal. And the image, the quality and the service you provide are, to my opinion, extremely key for ensuring loyalty. And by the way, we don't have so much, I would say, history with Flex, because this is a service and a product we launched a year ago. But the churn is very low, so the loyalty, despite people are completely free to go, I mean, they're not.
So the loyalty is built through the brand, through the experience you deliver, through the quality of digital experience, not through handcuffing people.
It's the same story. Nobody forces you to use Uber. If you don't like it, you go anytime. Nobody forces you to continue your Netflix subscription. You don't like it, you go anytime. I mean, nobody forces you to continue your Spotify subscription. If next month you don't want it anymore, you just stop it. But you do keep it. At least I do. Because I like
same for me. Same for me. And as you say, you don't even think about it. Let's go back to Cindy, because there's even more questions coming in. So Cindy, back to you for just a couple of moments.
Hi, everyone. So a question from Jean-Michel from Twickenham, not far from me, Jean-Michel. Is Flex running on Orange Cloud Flex Engine, and are you considering moving Flex once adapted to business? So that's one question. So that's quite an interesting one. The other side of it is around the learnings that you've had from the Flex customers, and also what the obstacles that you faced are. There are other incumbent CSPs that are looking at this. What advice would you give them?
Okay, so I can answer the first question. If you want more information, you should refer to our CIO. But yes, I mean, it's a native cloud IT systems that we are using. So they are running on Orange Cloud. And we have projects to have them have some of them also migrating to public clouds, in the future. So this is a cloud native IT pile that we are using. So I confirm that completely. Again, for more information, please contact Bruno Chomel, our CIO, bruno.chomel@orange.com. Talking about the learning, yes, there has been a big learning phase. So, and that's the beauty of the agile organization we have put in place. Since the launch, we have been constantly learning and adapting. And that's also another topic I did not address, which is beautiful with this, let's say, new digital pile and this application that we have launched. I think the way we're doing marketing is completely changing with Flex. Simply why? Because we have a complete logs of everything that is happening at every second with Flex. So everything is obviously logged. So we know we have a complete view on the pipe. What I call the pipe is how many people have downloaded the application, how many people have started the application, how many people have started the onboarding process, at which stage of the onboarding process they are. Did they scan their ID card, their passport? Did they take a selfie? Were they accepted? Did they put their credit card? Did they choose a package? So everything is logged. Everything is obviously available. The pipe is dynamic. So we have a lot of data. We have tons of data, which are enabling us to factualize very much what is happening on our pipe, real time, and obviously to correct and move in a very agile way. We are really working on an agile mode. It means that the team which is running Flex is having really this agile methodology way of working. So they have a budget for every quarter, running QBRs. They are, really looking at each quarter of what will be the developments, what are the things that need to get fixed. I mean, we management are just checking with them at the beginning of every quarter what are their plans, what they want to do, and they are completely autonomous after that during the quarter, which is enabling us, as I was saying, to have incredible time of reaction. So, for instance, during this COVID crisis, the government here in Poland and the Prime Minister asked the operators to give free internet access to teachers, students, and pupils, because everybody was obviously sent home, so schools were closed. So it was really a headache, because as you can imagine, the impact on our business to give free internet to these people would have been huge. So we came up with the proposal to use Flex, and we gave for 1 zloty for the months of April and the months of May. Everybody with a specific code could actually get access to Flex for 2 months, for 1 zloty per month, for 100 gig per month. So it was basically giving free mobile internet. When we proposed the idea and it was accepted, until the moment we launched it, it took us 4 days to come up with this specific promotion. 4 days. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable in our legacy. It's not feasible. Yeah. So we could come up with this promotion like this. And this is the beauty of this new agile way of learning, of running the product. And there has been a lot of learning. It's difficult for me to tell you what kind of things should be avoided, because I think every market is specific. I myself have been working on other market than the Polish market. I used to run Orange Romania in the past. So I know that each market has its specificity. Each market at its own competition, its own price points. So the beauty with Flex, it was also a try and error. We have a lot of agility. We try things. We can do a lot of A/B testing as well, which we couldn't do on real products. We do a lot of A/B testing. We try one way and the other at the same time. We see which one is performing the best, and we keep it. Again, I mean, this is very interesting as well, because this is a new way to do marketing and to look at how customers are reacting, with a lot of facts and a lot of data. So, again, is very interesting.
So I think that speaks to a lot of the new skills and capabilities that a lot of telco operators are in search of. You're talking about rapid innovation, being able to try things, introduce new offers. The EduFlex offer, I think, is not only an important impact on society, but also, a great demonstration, as you say, of the ability to really pivot thanks to the flexibility of the platform, the team, the mindset towards it, and so on. In terms of the future of Flex, one of the questions there was around, do you take Flex into the B2B segment? Orange Poland is obviously part of the Orange Group, so you may be thinking about that. Tell us a little bit about where Flex goes next. Is it an experiment that you've learned a lot from and you're sort of happy to keep relatively small, or do you have bigger plans?
No. For where Flex goes next, first of all, we have a number of items on our, let's say, next development steps. That are planned. So we want to introduce more features. For instance, we would like to enable Flex users also to get access to devices, because this is one of the requests we got from Flex customers. So not only because today Flex is a SIM-only kind of product. I mean, you need to have a device, obviously, already. So this is one of the direction. We have been introducing very recently multi-languages. So Flex is available in English now. We are going to introduce also Ukrainian language, because we have a lot of Ukrainians working in Poland. There is more than 1 million Ukrainian people working. So we are working on multi-language and a number of other features. So there is one development path which is concerning features, and one other idea that we are working on at this moment, but I can't tell much more about it now, is obviously going into other geographies, because also the way Flex has been built, it would be pretty straightforward to instantiate or to extend the availability of Flex in other countries. Of course, adapting to this country in terms of pricing and languages. So we are, as you were rightfully saying, within the Orange footprint, we are in many other countries in Europe. So we are talking about the opportunity to go outside the borders of Poland, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Now, Orange at a group level has set out a strategy to become a multi-service operator. There's already Orange Bank in many geographies as well. How do the skills you've learned through Flex and the transformation you've started to drive in the mindset of the team in Poland, how is that going to help you go perhaps beyond connectivity in terms of the kinds of services you offer? Are there skills there that you think are transferable to other types of products and lines of business?
Yeah, I think one of the learnings from Flex that we can and we are, as we speak, reusing for the entire organization, but Flex was not the only part. I mean, inside Orange Polska, we have islands of agile teams. So we are, for instance, using agile teams in BI. We are also using agile team in some other, let's say, islands inside the company. So Flex is part of these. We have 5 agile islands in the companies. Flex is one of them. So I believe that it's a very good example, because this is one of my ideas and my goals is to develop a bit more agile working inside the company. I'm not sure it's completely fit to all our activities, agile, but I'm convinced that we could do more. It's giving obviously more responsibilities to the team. It's giving us more flexibility, more adaptability to the market, more consumer focus. So I see Flex way really. It's a good example. And it's also a factory to grow these agile methodologies and agile ways of working. So some guys that have been working on Flex, we will move them eventually to other projects, other teams that we will run in this agile mode. So step by step, this is a bit of a internal organization inside Orange Polska, but we want to move that direction.
Yeah. Now, Jean-Francois, you praised your CIO for really embracing this change, and you've given a bit of insight into the situation that will be very similar to many people listening today in terms of the hundreds of systems of legacy and complexity they sit on top of. If you were giving advice to a fellow CEO or CIO in the market about who's perhaps looking at what you've done in Flex and thinking, well, I'd love to do that, but we've struggled to deliver against that, what would your words of advice be to others looking to instill this new way of thinking into the business?
It's always a bit difficult to give advice to others because each situation has its particular, I would say, hurdles, and so I would be very cautious to give any advice like this to anyone. But I can tell that at the size of Orange Polska, I believe the Flex project was a sizable project, but it was a project that we are happy we took this, let's say, because it's also a risk when you launch this kind of project. We are happy we took it because I believe this is like a small kid. This is our small kid in the family. It's still a baby, but it's growing very strongly. And I believe this is representing the future. So we see a lot of learning for the organization. So, difficult for me to give any advice to anyone on this. I mean, but this is the direction we have chosen at Orange Polska. And we are happy we've embraced this. And we learn also so much from it because this is, I think, really an innovative project from many angles.
Now, final question from me today, Jean-Francois. You described when Orange Flex was launched, this is the uber-izing telecoms. You've mentioned that a little bit on today's call. Uber has been had a seismic effect on many countries at a very local level, but also in some countries struggled because of a lack of local knowledge as well. So what do you see as the end state when you talk about uber-izing telecoms? What do you think that looks like? Is it like Flex or is it something else?
Yeah. So here, Nick, you touched the I would say the pain point. Would we really have uberized telecoms? Then we would have launched Flex in all European countries, which in theory we could have done. But we haven't done because I think this is, we have disrupted ourselves in Poland at this stage. But I think that would we have been a real digital player, we would have probably have launched it in many other countries. And that's I think the cultural difference still between us and fully digital players. So I mean the pitfalls that you have been describing for Uber. We don't see them because we have not completely pushed the Flex concept to where it could be completely pushed. But,
Yeah. That's you're saying what's on all our minds, Jean-Francois, so appreciate that. With that, we're out of time. This has been a fantastic session. So sincere thanks to you, Jean-Francois, for your candidness and sharing your time with us today. Thanks also to the audience for a wide range of comments and questions. We got through quite a few. More we'll try and process in the follow-up online in Inform. But with that, I'd just like to thank Jean-Francois.
It was a pleasure to exchange with you. Thank you for the invitation, and thanks everyone for having been with us.